My neighborhood used to be quiet. It was a nice, family friendly place. People watered their lawns, waved to each other, and talked about the weather by shouting across yards. It was the kind of place where people knew their mail carrier by name and kids rode their bikes until dinner. Then came the summer before the elections, and all that changed. It started with a small sign. I'm not going to tell you the color. All you need to know is that George Wazowski put a political sign in his yard, one of those little ones with just the name of the candidate and the year. A few days later, his neighbor, Lindy Mary, put up a sign too, but his was for a different candidate. It was the season, and before long, more signs appeared. Flags followed. Some neighbors waved flags on their porches, some painted their mailboxes in party colors. The neighborhood began to feel different, more awkward. People stopped waving. One man crossed the street to avoid walking past a house with the wrong sign. Kids weren't allowed to play in certain driveways anymore. Neighbors who had been friendly for years now avoided eye contact. The final straw came when two neighbors got into a shouting match during garbage day. The police were called, and though no one was arrested, it made everyone uncomfortable. Then the HOA called an emergency meeting at the community hall, and we all gathered there like a bunch of wayward high schoolers at the principal's office. Mrs. Alvarez, the head of the committee, stood up and cleared her throat. "We need to talk about the signs," she said. When she opened the floor to arguments, everyone had something to say. Some said they had a right to their political beliefs. Some said the signs made them feel unsafe. But we all came to the same conclusion. We used to have a really friendly neighborhood, and we all missed it. A woman in the back stood up. "My kids used to play at 3 different houses. Now they only go to one. That's not right," others nodded. "I've lived here 30 years, said Mr. Kim. "We've been through storms and power cuts together. Nobody cared who voted for who then. We just helped each other." After more discussion, the group agreed. Signs and flags were dividing the neighborhood. They weren't solving anything. They weren't changing anyone's mind. They were just making people angry. The committee made a decision. No more political signs or flags in public view. They would send out a simple notice to every house. Some people weren't happy and they threatened legal action, but no one actually sued the HOA over it. Almost immediately, the signs came down, and the neighborhood looked like it used to. But it took a while for it to feel like it used to. No, for that to happen, no HOA rules would work. Instead, we had to rebuild what we had broken. So the HOA started the Great Cookie Exchange, where they encouraged people to bake something for their neighbors, just as a sign of peace. And it worked, because eventually the lawn chairs reappeared, people began to wave again, and the kids came back out riding their bikes and making their noise in peace. The elections came and went. We all voted, at least I expect that we did, and we all experienced the highs and lows of the economy together. Now when tempers rise and people trade blame, we try to remember that politics will come and go, but we will still be neighbors. And unless we want to end up as a social media meme, we need to always remember to be neighborly, and that a peaceful community is something worth keeping.